Welcome to Fantasy Football Hub. I'm joined today by FPL Salah, aka Abdul. Up two big green arrows for two big bearded handsome men. Unsubscribe. So look, good game week. We've just ended the Leicester game there, 2-0. It was 2-0 in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was busy setting up for the stream. I was just assuming. I had Castagna, you had Ward. So
I had Ward, yeah, who just managed to sneak 3 bonus, which is great.
That's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
Yeah, he only made 2 saves as well, so yeah, unexpected, but
he's been a bit of a hero recently, hasn't he? That's
yeah.
2 6-pointers, well, a 6 and then whatever the bonus is, you know. You were saying it was 2 and then it was 3, and what's it sitting at now?
Yeah, it's still at 3 bonus, so I don't know. I mean, they do sometimes like amendments after the game, so
yeah,
might possibly lose, but hopefully not.
No, you won't be counting them yet. But look, what we're going to do today, just for everyone watching, we're going to look at our teams, look at how we get on. We're going to build a wildcard for Game Week 13. A lot of people are in a position where they're doing that. And even if you're not wildcarding, do not worry. A lot of you'll have decisions or you'll have a transfer or two to make. And I suppose through that wildcard building segment, you'll be mentioning players and why you're bringing them in up to the World Cup. So we'll be definitely picking out good picks there. And then on top of that, we are also going to reveal your team for next week. So yeah, is this accidental? No, Vegan Beast. There's just a very quick turnaround between game weeks, and I'm at a wedding tomorrow, so Abdul was good enough to bounce on. We're getting this one knocked out. There's a Green Arrow podcast tomorrow, and that'll give you everything you need leading up to the deadline. I also spoke to Bakar today, if anyone's interested. Obviously, there were a couple of fixtures left. So Abdul, first thing we need to do is check out how we got on midweek. Now, I will show you my team first because people probably care a little less about this. I had Pope and Trippier, which was great. Nico Williams, lovely. Castagna there with 6 points. Happy to see it. I did take a -4 to bring Castagna in, along with Trossard and Salah. Trossard and Salah let me down, so I'm happy to have got something back with Castagna. Andreas didn't do much. Mitrovic got his 6 points. Is he on for bonus?
No,
he is not, unfortunately. Nah, nowhere even close. Zaha got 8 points and Tony blanked. But ultimately, I think I'm very happy because if I go to pick my team for next week, I'm looking strong. If I was to bring in, I'll just click around here in front of people for a second. I'm actually struggling. I've got like one too many players where I don't know who to start and who to bench, which is always a good position. I'm going to have to think of this over the next week or so, or over the next day. My plan is, I think, to spend a transfer on Trossard to Foden, and that would mean next week I'm playing a team of Pope, Guehi, Trippier, Castagna, Cancelo, Zaha, Martinelli, Salah, Haaland, Mitrovic, Tony. And sorry, if I do bring Foden in, Foden will play over Guehi, I think, based on the fixture. But Everton's a nice one. Anyway, that's how I'm set. The number is yet to update on the site, but I've went and had a look, and I'm into the top million, which is the first time since I made the horror decision not to captain Haaland for the 23-pointer. So this is where we're at. You're doing a little bit better. You've got the 60 points plus the 3 for Ward inbound. So you've got a 63-pointer with a -4, so 59 in the basket. A nice green arrow as well. You happy?
Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Had a few kind of tipsy game weeks, but this one was decent. I mean, not a huge green, but a green, and that Ward clean sheet kind of helped a lot. Without that, it would have been a pretty average game week. So yeah, happy with 59 points, and more importantly, I think I'm pretty happy with the team kind of going forward as well.
Salah disappointing?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's just, I mean, he had the chances, John. I mean, he had the chances, especially when Nunes went off. You know, he seemed to kind of shift centrally. But even, you know, with Nunes on, he still had a few chances. You know, he hit a few over the bar. You know, had a few which he got on target, which he really should have done better with. So I'm not too worried about Salah, to be perfectly honest. Nottingham Forest at home next, so he's a keep, obviously.
Yeah. In terms of this team, like what moves are you thinking of going into next week? I'm going to pull your team up on my team. What are we thinking?
So at the moment, I think it's pretty obvious. It's going to be either Trossard to either Saka or Foden. That's my two choices. I think at the moment, you know, seeing that Saka played like the full 90 minutes today, he seemed to get a bit of a knock as well. He got a really like bad studs up challenge, and he seemed to be hobbling a bit, which has put me a bit off, put me off him now. So I think the kind of pendulum has swung towards Foden for sure. I think minutes wise, Saka might not get as many minutes now at the weekend because they've got PSV again midweek. So yeah, either Trossard to Foden or Saka, but at the moment, I think it'd probably be Foden.
Yeah, I think Foden's mine, and people be aware that Foden's price likely to go up tonight, or it might already be locked in to go up tonight. So
yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
time to pull the trigger. I'll probably be doing that just after our stream. I've pulled your team up there going into next week. I've benched Solanke, Dunk, and Andreas, and I've got rid of Trossard and brought in Foden. Just assuming that that's what you're likely to do. The big question, to kind of before I give you your game week rating and predicted points, captaincy. Salah has an incredible fixture, the most predicted points I think this week on Hub, but it's Haaland and it's Brighton and it doesn't even matter. It's Haaland. I could say that all night. What are you thinking? Is there even a conversation? There has to be a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a conversation, John, but I just think for me, I mean, there's no reason I mean, in my opinion, there's no reason for me to not to captain Haaland. I mean, 15 goals, 3 assists so far. I mean, Salah, we know. Okay, his stats have been okay. I guess he's been playing a lot better recently, but he's not on Haaland's level at the moment. And I just think now is not the week to kind of take a punt. It's a bit too early. I just think with Haaland's the stats he's putting up and the output he's putting up, he's just a level above everyone. So for me, it's locked on Haaland, but I wouldn't say that going Salah is a bad decision. It's still a very, very decent choice because Forest are one of the best, one of the worst defences in the league. Brighton do have a good defence. They're like top 3 for XGC, but if you just look at City's attack and the way they've been playing this season, it might not matter.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. I've tried to be clever with Haaland once. I'm not going to get bitten again. And if it's boring, it's boring, but I'm not doing it. So that's your team for next week. You have a projected points of 63.1, game week rating of 89%. What's really interesting about Hub's feature here on my team is you can scroll ahead. So next week, you're probably going to play Raya instead of Ward. Ward's up against Man City. But outside that, you're looking pretty strong. You've got some nice fixtures there. No one's really got a bad fixture in game week 14 for you. So you're looking great there. Game week 15 as well. Again, looking very strong. Mitrovic has City, which is tough. But assuming you make no more moves, which I'm sure you will, Solanke's there against Leeds that week. Raya has Forest. Ward has Everton. So you have a bit of depth there from the keeper slot. Salah and Trent are up against Spurs, which might be tough. Martinelli against Chelsea. But as I say, there's probably a move in the bank. Game week 16, you're stupidly strong 4 with 71 predicted points, and then 65 game week 17, which is irrelevant. But game week 16, you're looking well. So you're pretty well set up until we get to the World Cup. The problem is, it's never linear, is it? It's never what we expect. Someone's going to do something they shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's wise, kind of always wise to have as strong as squad as possible, even though it looks like I might not need any moves, for the next few weeks. As you said, it's something that's bound to happen. There's plenty of games to be played from now until game week 16. So yeah, I'm happy. As I said, I'm happy with my team going forward, but we know something's going to pop up sooner or later.
Get in the comments. The game week's over. Let us know how many points you ended up on. I want to see who's got the most. I want to see who's got the least. But be honest, someone's going to put in 200 points. But yeah, let us know how many points you've got. Abdul, do you know what the highest ever points on an FPL game week is? I don't. I'm wondering.
No.
Do you know what the record is?
I don't. I know there's been like a 200 plus score in like a double game week with like bench boosters, but I can't exactly remember what the single game week highest score is. To be perfectly honest,
there's a piece of trivia for the audience. If anyone knows that, you'll get a pat in the back. I'd be very impressed. But look, it's time for us to build a wild card. I have no idea what you're going to pick because I didn't ask you. I said we'll do it live. Yeah. We're going to do this how we always build things, back to front, one at a time. 50 points from the 21, 50 points with 8 in the bench, 56 of 43, a 65 there with a -8 isn't great. With the -8 obviously, but 65 is wonderful. 62, 51, some nice points totals coming in. All right, do you want to start us off? Who's your keeper duo?
Okay, so I've gone for Pickford and Begovic in goal. So reason being is that Everton, okay, yeah, they haven't been great this season. They haven't conceded many goals, but if you look at their XGC, they have been quite bad. So they've been quite unlucky. Quite lucky to not have not to have conceded more goals. But I just think with that fixture run they've got, I think it's a good as kind of combination you'll get up until, because obviously we're only looking at game week 13 to 16. We're looking at 4 fixtures, and they've got people up here. Got Crystal Palace, Fulham, Leicester, and Bournemouth. There's surely a few clean sheets in there, and Pickford is kind of historically good, at making saves and picking up bonus points as well. So I've gone for them too at the back.
I like it. We're not going to be using triple Everton outfield anyway. We'll go in order of, most boring. Who's your most boring pick in defence?
Most boring, I'll go Cancelo. I think everyone's going to have Cancelo. So, again, great pick. But yeah, I think he is pretty obvious choice from now until the game, until the World Cup.
And we'll go in order of most boring to least boring. Who's next?
Okay, then I'll go Trippier. Again, pretty boring, but you know what I mean? Like, you can't argue with those players, especially Trippier. Now he's the top scoring defender in the game. 3 bonus points again this game week. And then Newcastle just look at a totally revamped team. They are, statistically, one of the best defensive teams in the league. They've actually conceded the least goals so far, and they're third best for XGC as well. So yeah, you've got to keep him. And again, a lot of people will have money tied up in him as well, so he's not worth getting rid of.
What's really scary about Newcastle is they've been given all this money, right? But I kind of thought it would take longer for them to be this good.
Yeah.
If that's how good they are now, imagine when there's another 200 million spent there. Next season they're going to be genuine top 4 contenders, in my opinion.
I was so skeptical of their appointment of Eddie Howe. I just thought, what are they doing here? Last season I thought, they might, I thought they kind of doomed themselves for relegation, but proved me wrong. He's been absolutely phenomenal.
Who's our next defender?
Okay, so I'll go for the next big hitter, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold. So Liverpool seem to kind of been tightened up a bit at the back. I watched the game against West Ham. Obviously, Liverpool were really lucky to not to concede with one missing the penalty, but they were totally in control of that game until Gomez made that clumsy challenge. Trent was getting in his few advanced positions, put a few good crosses in. Could have had an assist for Salah if Salah just kind of had a better finish on him. But yeah, I just think, again, fixtures from now until the World Cup, too good. They've got Nottingham Forest next. They've got Leeds. They've got Tottenham away, but that's obviously that kind of game could go anyway. And then they've got Southampton at home. So yeah, I think even though they've got Spurs in that run, I still think it's definitely worth to go with Trent.
Love it. This is looking like the big at the back build from the game week 1 so far, apart from obviously the goalkeepers. Who's our next defender, and are they starting?
So the next 2 won't be starting this week, but I'll go for Mark Guy from Crystal Palace. So again, he's 4.3 million. Palace got good fixtures. Probably won't play him from now until the World Cup, but his fixtures are great, and if there's an injury in the squad or somebody misses out, he's a very, very good backup. With those fixtures that Crystal Palace have got. So yeah, again, I think all the Crystal Palace defenders are probably pretty much the same. Maybe Anderson's got the most attacking threat, but it's few and far between, and you might as well go for the cheapest one.
And your 5th?
So I've got one for Ben White. So I think Arsenal's fixtures are definitely worth investment. Again, they've got Southampton, Nottingham Forest next, which look, pretty set in clean sheets. They'll be high on the odds for the clean sheets. Chelsea away, yeah, that's a tough one, but Arsenal are playing so well at the moment. They're actually the second best kind of defensive team in the league for goals conceded and XGC. So, and you've seen yourself, John, how good they have been this season. And then they've got Wolves away in game week 16. So there's 3 fixtures there, I think, which they can very well keep clean sheets in. And Ben White, I think he's. I don't think going Gabriel or William Saliba, who are at 5.1 million. I don't think it's kind of worth the extra 0.6 to really go for them when Ben White's nailed. He's actually got more attacking threat, in terms of assists, and he seems to get taken off early. like, a lot of like 75th, kind of minute, 80th minute, which is actually good because that kind of backs a clean sheet when Arsenal have got a clean sheet. So I'd actually kind of prefer that for my defender. So I like Ben White. I think he's a really, really underrated pick.
I love it. Yeah. In terms of value there. And a lot of people got rid of the Arsenal lads with the game week 8 and 9 wild cards, but now the game week 12's out of the way, maybe people can start to look back there for a few weeks. There's over 400 people here. Let us know which defender you think Salah's missing here. I say Salah, Abdul, FPL Salah is missing. Which defender do you think he's absolutely sleeping on? So other people can go and look in the comments and see some other options. We'll go in midfield and we'll go from I want to hear your cheapest pick first.
Okay, the cheapest pick is Andreas, so obviously I'm just going to keep him because he's by far the best 4.5 million midfielder in the game. Not much more to be said. He'll probably be on the bench most weeks, so again, great bench option.
Yeah, he's just been there all season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I was a bit gutted he didn't get anything this week. It would have been nice, whenever you're relying on him as well. It's nice if he had done something, but alas, here we are. Give me your most expensive.
Okay, the most expensive. You'll probably be surprised at this. It's Phil Foden.
Oh, baby, I see what's coming. I can see it a mile off, but I love it. I'll
explain why. I'll explain why as well.
Okay.
Don't worry. But yeah, Phil Foden, again, City's fixtures now until the World Cup. City have probably got the best fixtures as well. I mean, they're the best attacking team. And they're also they're a fixture-proof side, John. We know that. But when you mix that in with great fixtures, they've got Brighton at home, which isn't, they aren't the worst defensive team, obviously, but, City are so good in attack. Then they've got Leicester away, Fulham at home, and Brentford at home. So, you've got to have triple City, I think, if you're wildcarding this week. And
Foden makes sense to save 3.5-4 million on De Bruyne.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Okay, let's go down from Foden. Who's next?
Okay, so the second most expensive is Jared Bowen.
Oh, you've got him in the old penalty nightmare guy.
Yeah, I think he'll keep the penalties. By the way, I don't think one miss is enough to kind of take him off. I guess Skamaka is probably the next in line to take them, but I think he'll keep them, John. And West Ham have got 3 home games in the next 4. They've got United away in Gameweek 14, which is obviously the tough one. But from an attacking sense, I don't see that as too much of a bad fixture. But Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and Leicester all at home in the next 4. You can't ask for much better. And he'd been absolutely nailed in my wildcard team if I was pulling the trigger this week.
Okay, Bowen's one I was obviously very skeptical about, but he did all right. For a couple of weeks, so I felt a little bit vindicated when he missed a penalty, but ultimately he won a penalty and had a chance to get another return. So I was just saved my blushes a little bit. But anyway, Bowen, I don't know, he's my nemesis this season. Who's our fourth midfielder?
So gone Bukayo Saka.
And will that change, do you think, with this flag because of the Europa League, or I suppose this is a space that you're going to have to wait and see for tomorrow, really.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's in the team for now because he did suffer that knock, but he did play on. So, obviously, it doesn't seem like a huge injury, but, obviously, these things can flare up after the matches, etc. So, I guess we'll just have to see in the press conferences. But for now, assuming he's fit, he's in. And again, another absolutely nailed pick in the wildcard team. He's on penalties as well now, John. We've seen that. He's taken the last 2. So, those next 2 fixtures, Southampton and Nottingham Forest at home. That Nottingham Forest at home fixture is probably Arsenal's best fixture of the season. So, yeah, it could be some serious goals and attacking returns in them too.
Shaman in the comments saying there, Arteta said that he won't be resting Saka in the next game. It doesn't sound serious. Now, I haven't watched that or heard that, but according to Shaman in the comments, that was said. 500 people in. Welcome, everyone. Let us know what midfielder FPL Salah has absolutely butchered missing out. Who's the 5th? So they can all ridicule you in the comments.
So the 5th is, I don't think they'll ridicule me for this pick, but it's Martinelli. So I definitely think a double up in the attack is worth it, especially going the next 2. And then, they've got Wolves after Chelsea. I even think that Chelsea fixture, John, has got goals in it. I don't think that'll be a low scoring game. So And Arsenal have been like the second best attacking side in the league after City when you're looking at goals scored and XG as well. So yeah, I mean a double up is more than worthy, I think.
Zaha is the player that's come up twice, and it was the player I was going to throw at you.
Yeah,
Zaha isn't here. Obviously, has some ridiculous fixtures himself.
yeah,
Did he cross your mind?
of course, definitely. I mean, if you wanted a Zaha instead of a Bowen, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I think he's just as good a pick. But for me, I mean, they're both on penalties, yeah, which is great for them. But I just think I think overall West Ham are a better team with a better attack, and I think Bowen is ultimately a better FPL asset than Zaha. So that's the only reason. I mean, the argument is Zaha is cheaper. He's 7.5 million. So if you can use that money to kind of make another worthy upgrade elsewhere, totally fine.
And then I suppose if we were to hear that Saka's confirmed out, maybe that's a very easy switch.
Exactly.
Great comment there from Omni Shamble saying at FPL no Salah is your new name.
I thought I'd get a few of those comments.
So on to forwards, I'm gonna just put Haaland in. I imagine he's non-negotiable for anyone.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not in the team actually. No,
Fuck
I'm
off.
kidding.
I actually am not allowed to curse here. That's like the first time I've cursed in a while. I should have done that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, of course
you got an F-bomb out of me. So Haaland's in. Great. Haaland's in. Okay. Now you've got 14.6 million. So this is interesting now. People can be doing a bit of mental arithmetic here and they can probably work out what you're about to do. But do you want to go ahead and tell us?
Yeah, I'll go for the least obvious one, or the most obvious one first.
Okay.
So I've gone for Ivan Toney for Brentford. I mean, he's just a glue pick, John. He's one of those players you can just stick him in your team for the whole season and he'll just churn out points. Aston Villa, Wales, and Nottingham Forest next, and then they've got Man City in Gameweek 16. But again, by that time you can possibly transfer him out, for a 1 week punt, for a good forward in Gameweek 16. So definitely worth investment, despite that City fixture. Those next three are amazing, and I really wish I could somehow get them in my team this week. But I've also got their fires to put out first.
Yeah, you see, I'm over the moon now. I've got Tony. I captained him in that week that Haaland did his business, but he's returned since, and I'm looking forward to having him now over the next few fixtures. Now, it's what I love about this, even before you tell us this last player, people need to bear in mind the bank says 7.2 there, but this is based off a 100 million budget, and people will more than likely have a few quid left due to price rises, etc. And they would have got Martinelli cheaper, blah, blah, blah. So it isn't going to be a player under 7.2 necessarily. The second thing I'll say that I love about the wildcards at the minute is there's so much that can be done differently. It's not necessarily this is the wildcard, because there are merits, I think, like people could not pick Trent and could save a few quid. People might not pick one of those sort of mid-price mids and go down. I don't know who to, but let's say you were to pick up a couple of million somewhere. You could quite feasibly have Kane in this draft, depending on the value of your team. But who have you went for?
So I've gone for Darwin Núñez, right?
Love it.
So I'll explain why I've got him over Salah. So again, with this, you as you're saying, John, with the different picks, you can go Darwin to like an Archer or a Greenwood, and then you get Salah instead, and then also downgrade Trent. But the reason why I've not gone for Salah in this wildcard draft is that obviously I think he's a great pick, and he'll score well over the next few weeks. But because I think in the next 4 game weeks, I can't see my captaincy leaving Haaland, and I think he is the best option for the next 4 game weeks. As boring as it may sound, that's the fact. And so we don't need Salah for the captaincy. And I just think, with those funds kind of spread about, it allows you to have Ivan Toney, allows you to have Darwin, allows you to have Trent in your team, which I think overall it gives you a better squad. I wouldn't like to go without Salah for over the long term. So if this was a long term wildcard, I probably would pick Salah. But because we're only looking at a 4 game week stretch, I think it's totally fine to go without him, for these 4 game weeks. And he has dropped in price to like 12.8 million. So again, usually would have a lot of money tied up in Salah because he's doing great, but this season his price has gone the other way. So there's not that factor there as well. So yeah, for me that's my reasoning for not picking Salah in the wildcard draft. But again, if I've seen a few wildcard drafts out there with Salah in it, and they're very good. But for me, it's like this. And I just think Darwin, he just gets so many chances, John.
Hmm.
He's one of those where he's like a chance hogger, and he only played 57 minutes against West Ham, but he could have had a hat trick in that first half. He hit the post. He had a few other good chances. One with a Trent cross, which Fabianski plucked out of the air. But yeah, he's one of those players who gets so many chances, even in the short amount of time he can get a big haul.
I do like the lack of Salah, and I think if I was wildcarding, I'd go without him. I think look, I'm trying to think here. I would go without him because I think he's been inconsistent enough this season that we need to forget our historical biases and the Salah of yesteryear and look at the now. And I don't think he's shown us enough. He's had his moments. Don't get me wrong. I think people with the goal against Man City maybe got carried away. But ultimately, I have him at the minute because it was an obvious switch for De Bruyne to free up the space for Foden. But I like what you're saying here. I think in terms of having a Trent, a Tony, and a Darwin as opposed to three lessers to find the 5-6 million or 5 million needed to buy a Salah. It's just I like it. I like the logic.
Yeah. And the main thing is, John, is Haaland. I mean, Haaland has made Salah an even poorer option. If there's no Haaland, in the league this season, just say hypothetically, then would all be on Salah again because he would probably still be one of the best options.
Well, let's churn this team out, see what it does. It's telling me here to pick traffic lights in this wee recapture jobby, so give me a second. Let's put this team in and see how we're looking. So imagine, let me just get this, switch you in there. This is strong. Okay, so here we bench probably White, Andreas, and Gehi on the bench. Am I correct?
Yeah. Let me just. Yeah.
Maybe
so you've got
captain
Gehi, Andreas, and White on the bench. Yeah.
Sound. So this team comes out with an 85% game week rating and a 90% team rating, which is looking away in the future up to 5 game weeks. So 60 predicted points for the week. I think this looks very strong, and the beauty of this that we can do with My Team Tool, if anyone wants to give it a crack, head over to the link in the description. You can sign up for free. You can't do this for free though. You can toggle ahead and have a look. So even in the weeks coming, you're looking strong. Even just next week with Bowen there against United, it's probably the toughest of the fixtures. But even on your bench, the depth you have there with White against Nottingham, Andreas against Everton, and Gehi against Southampton. 15, on we go. Another cracking week. The 3 City lads against Fulham. You have Tony against Nottingham. It goes on. Liverpool do have Spurs there, and Arsenal have Chelsea. And even your bench options have tough fixtures, but that's 2 weeks away. Anything can happen, and then right up to the end in game week 16, looking nice fixtures too. Apart from maybe Ivan Toney against Man City, so looking very good. One last thing we're going to do is we're going to have a very quick look at the best wildcard team according to AI. So this is according to the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub. And it's saying Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, Doherty, who I've seen mentioned a few times in the comments. They've went with Salah, and they've captained him over Haaland, strangely enough. That's, I think, looking a bit longer term, over just 1 week. But I would probably captain Haaland personally. I think it even would because it's got 9.5 predicted points there for Haaland. On we go, Saka, Martinelli, and then we've got Foden, Mitrovic, and Edouard. Now the fixtures. So that's what it's saying. Yeah. Game week 13 team as well. Whatever. We're more interested in wildcards. So we've built the wildcard. We've looked at our teams. We're 2 happy boys with 2 green arrows. What are your hopes for the weekend? How many points?
Hoping for about at least 100. Yeah, you're asking what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, but, fair. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Big man's got confidence here. Yeah. Okay. I think what I want to be when I come back, I want to be in the top 9. I'm gonna go for marginal gains. I want to be in the top 900k. What do you want to be?
I think realistically, I would love to be in the top 100k. And if I'm in the top 100k by the time we break off for the World Cup, I'll be over the moon with that.
By the time we get to the World Cup, I want to be top 500. But by the time we come back next week, I want to be top 900, top 850, top 850.
Yeah. I mean, John, the ranks are still so kind of congested at the moment, honestly. Like, I was looking the other day, it was like 10 points between 300k and 100k. So, I mean, like, one big game week can just, like, shoot you right up there. I mean, it can literally half your week.
Yeah, it just makes me think again about the Haaland captaincy, what those 23 points would have done. But anyway, enjoy your weekend. Everyone else, enjoy your weekends. We'll see you soon. Thanks for your time, Abdul, and cheerio. You can find us both on Twitter, by the way. There's our handles. And